Hi, I'm Tyson McCatton. I'm joined by new head football coach here at the University of Maine, Nick Charlton. Thanks for joining us today, Nick.
Thank you, Tyson.
I guess the first thing I'd like to hear from you is what drew you to the University of Maine? You know, kind of the recruiting pitch you would give other people, but what drew you here?
I think like when people talk about family atmospheres, it's kind of cliche, but it's really not here. You know, the people make up this university. You know, we're aware of where we are geographically, and at the end of the day, it's a lot about those relationships. When I got up here, that really became very obvious to me.
And we'll start back at the beginning. You know, what really got you into coaching? You know, what drives you about coaching?
Coaching, it's just teaching to me, and I always wanted to be a politician growing up, but I decided in college what I wanted to do, and I think I'm really into teaching and things like that, so to me, coaching was just like a natural progression. I opened up a newspaper once and I only looked at the sports, so I realized that's what I probably should be doing.
So, your studies in the political background, I
Yep.
mean, you have to sell a program, you have to sell a university. Is there things you learned in college studying political science that help you today?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, I was a philosophy major and then I studied political science and history, so to me it's a lot about leadership and those type of things, and then also logic and reasoning and things like that. So I use a lot of things I learned on a day-to-day basis.
So you're a philosophy major. What's your coaching philosophy?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Coach them hard, love them hard. That's it. That's my philosophy.
That's it.
That's it. You just got to coach them really hard, and you got to love them harder, and they'll do anything. That's the biggest thing is you got to get your players to buy in, but they won't do that if you don't care about them.
Sure.
So my biggest thing is to try to make sure the guys know I care about them, and to coach them hard.
Learning a lot about football, I feel like people say, you learn a lot on the field, you learn a lot off the field. What have you learned about yourself through coaching?
I think as you get into the profession, you realize kind of what you can handle on a day-to-day basis because it's a very challenging profession. But I think I just learned that I really love what I'm doing, and that ultimately, being busy, working, and doing those things, it makes my time that I have with my family like even more valuable. And so I've learned that kind of over time.
And all the success last year, right? A great season. You make the longest run, deepest run into the playoffs for Maine football. How do you see yourself using that to build on, to make this team even better?
Well, I mean, we know we have a lot of good players coming back, and we have great staff coming back as well. It's, all right, we had 2018. What are we going to do to elevate 2019? Because there's a lot of expectation now. And, I went back and looked. In the program's history, which is 126 years, we've only repeated playoffs one time and repeated as conference champs twice. So to me, there's a high expectation, but it's something that hasn't really been done too often. So that's a challenge to our players.
So creating a consistency, and every year
Yep.
You're looking for high expectations. You're looking for the playoffs. It isn't like you make it there once and then you rebuild and you get back there. It's
Right.
every year we are expected to be in the playoffs.
It can't just be, hey, we have a lot of seniors on our team, and every 4 years we're really competitive. I think this program, the way we've recruited, with the staff that we have and the administration, I think we can produce a playoff team every year. Now, there's challenges with that, but I think our guys are up to it.
And it's great to talk about the success of last year, but let's look forward a little bit. What are you excited about, maybe on both sides of the ball, special teams? You're an old special teams guy.
I am.
What things excite you looking at 2019?
Well, of course, the players that we have coming back. It's all about players. Players make plays, and we can drop whatever we want, but it's ultimately about them. And we have some really good ones coming back. We returned the majority of our team. Now, there's some big seniors we lost, but at the same time, I'm excited about them. And really, the biggest thing in the offseason I'm excited about, it's a different challenge for us now, because it used to just be, how do we get to this point? How do we get to be a playoff team? How do we get to be a champion? Well, we did that. So now it's about how do we manage those expectations? How do we grow from that and continue to do it?
Sure. And I just told you we're going to look forward, but now guess what I'm going to do?
Go
I'm gonna
backwards.
Look back a little
Yes.
bit. So let's talk about your time coaching. Your first taste of coaching. Where was that, and what was your original thoughts of coaching? Was this like, oh wow, I just got into something, I want to do for the rest of my life, or was it a little bit of a learning process?
A little bit of a learning process. I played high school football, and I lived in Salem, Mass, and that's where I grew up. And when I was deciding what I wanted to do, I committed to a Division II school to play quarterback, and ended up getting into Boston College. I went there and became a student assistant. And to me, I learned a lot from the challenges of what it is to coach at Division I level. And I think it was a difficult transition at first, but I could tell it was something that I really wanted and ultimately loved.
And when you say Salem, Mass, people always think of.
The witches.
Right, but it's more than that, right? Tell us about Salem, Mass. and growing up there.
It is. I'm a very proud Salem resident. I really am. So I'll shout out my parents right now. But for Salem, it's obviously there's the witch aspect of it, which does take up a lot of the tourism and things like that. But it's right on the water. It's on the North Shore. It's a real New England town in Mass, and there's a lot going on. Whether you're a young kid, like I was in high school, or whether you're older and you're looking to get a house and do those things. So it was a great place to grow up.
From Salem, you go to BC.
Yep.
You graduate BC.
Yep.
And then you move into coaching at Boston College. Take us through your time at BC and talk about some of the guys you met there that have really mentored you in your coaching.
Yep. So when I transitioned to being a grad assistant, after I was done, I was off the field at first. A guy named Mike Saravo, who's at Baylor now, he's a linebackers coach. He really took me on and mentored me and got me into it from the start. And then I got on the field and started working with the offensive line and the quarterbacks. It was really Ryan Day, who's now out at Ohio State. He was the guy I worked with, the closest. Him and Steve Adazio, the head coach at BC. So to me, it was a really good relationship. It was very challenging because of the expectations there, and there was a lot asked, in that capacity. But at the same time, I learned everything I know from there. So it was really valuable.
So going from BC, then you come to the University of Maine.
Yep.
How did that transition go? Was it Coach Cause that reached out to you? Were you kind of looking?
Well, in this profession, it's always kind of about, do you have success, but also who are your connections? And that's really important. And luckily, there was a lot of guys on staff that knew Coach Cause, had a connection with him. And luckily, they were able to recommend me up here. I interviewed in March of 2015, and then I got the job later that day and came up here the next week.
So you came up here, you started as wide receivers coach?
Wide receivers coach.
And then you moved on to special teams,
Yep.
and then kind of just kept climbing the ladder to where you are now. Is that how it works here at the University of Maine? You kind of you buy your time, you do a good job, and you get paid for it.
Yeah, I think recently there's been a lot of movement upward within the program and in general at the University of Maine. I think it's really good. I think it offers guys a chance to have something to strive for, especially when you're a younger coach. I was 25, I wasn't making a lot of money, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I just kept sticking with it, and it kept turning into positive things. Now, you got to be looking for the best quality candidates as well, which is what I'm doing right now, as the head coach. Sure. They're not, it depends on where they're from, but ultimately I think we have a really good group of staff here. So why wouldn't I keep them if I think they're the best for the job?
Right. Hashtag culture.
Facts. Hashtag facts.
So talk about the staff. You had a great year last year. You wanted to keep things solidified inside. Yep. So you've promoted Dresner to the offensive coordinator role,
yep.
Mike Ryan to the defensive coordinator role, and kept some other things in place too. So just take us a little, through the staff where we sit right now.
Yeah. So Coach Dresner is going to take the quarterbacks. He's the offensive coordinator. Pat Deneke, run game coordinator, offensive line. He's also going to be the assistant head coach. He helps me with a lot of things on and off the field. Very valuable to me specifically. Coach Flores, we're moving him up to wide receivers. He played receiver for me in 2015 here, and he's also going to be a recruiting coordinator. And then Dean Petson coaches our tight ends. He does a really, really good job. He's one of the smartest coaches I've been around. He's been really valuable. Obviously, Drew Belcher, had some success last year. Drew's a good player too. But we're looking for a running backs coach, and we're interviewing people and doing those things. On defense, it's Mike Ryan. Mike's been a big brain behind the black hole the last couple of years, and he's been a valuable part of our program. He's been here 6 years. So to me, that made a lot of sense, and our players really wanted that as well, which means something. Jared Kite, he's going to be safeties and special teams coordinator. Special teams is obviously fairly important to me. Jared's one of our best recruiters as well. And all these guys are very good recruiters, but Jared is one of our strongest recruiters, and I think he does a really good job coordinating teams for us, so he's important. And then Diamond Weaver is going to move up. He's going to be our cornerbacks coach. So his relationship with the players, with the staff, I think he's an excellent recruiter, especially down in the DMV area, DC and Maryland. I just think he has a lot of value on our staff, and then we're going to be hiring some more coaches as we go here on defense.
Great. So enough about football, Nick.
Okay.
We want to get to know you a little bit.
Sure.
So I'm going to start with food, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I believe last night when I talked to you briefly, and you hung up because why? You had to finish cooking your meatloaf.
I did.
How'd that turn out, by the way?
It was my wife has a wonderful recipe for it, so It was really positive.
All right. So I guess I want to start with one meal. You got one night. What are you having? You ordering out? You going to a restaurant? Are you cooking it yourself? Is your wife cooking?
Okay. I think my wife would agree with me on this, but it's Chinese food right there.
Chinese?
But like bad, like styrofoam tray
Yeah.
Chinese food.
Right.
That's what I want.
Probably bad for you, but you don't
Yes.
care.
Don't
You'll
really
eat a
know
ton
what's
of it.
in there, like a combination type plate.
Sure.
That's what I want.
And you always say, I'm going to save some for leftovers, and then you eat too much.
Exactly.
And you kind of feel bad about 2 hours later, and then
Right.
you wake up the next day and you feel even worse because you don't have it anymore.
But that's okay because I really enjoy that food. So that's what I would go with.
So it's Chinese.
It's
Ordering out
100%.
Chinese.
100%.
That's what you do.
That's
Last
what I would
meal,
do.
Nick Charlton,
Easy.
Chinese.
Easy.
All right, sounds good. Big entertainment guy, big music guy.
Yep.
What are you watching right now? What's on Netflix?
Well, we actually are rewatching Game of Thrones right now, so it's kind of a busy time right now a little bit with everything that's going on, and we're going on the
Couple things
road.
cooking, right?
A couple things cooking, but we're trying to steal some hours here and there to watch a little Game of Thrones and catch up. Great show. You know, on Netflix we kind of bounce around. We've watched The Sinner and things like that. The best show of all time is Mad Men. So Mad Men's on Netflix. I strongly suggest that show. But right now we're into Game of Thrones again. So that's what we're doing.
A movie guy, or is it TV series?
I'm actually, movies are my big thing.
Okay.
Like TV and movies, my big thing with that is that's like our culture now. So back in the day it was art and it was things like that. Now like it's all about that for entertainment. So for us, movies are huge. That represents our culture. So for me, I love movies. It's the
Got it.
best.
So I know you've thought about this. Who plays Nick Charlton in a movie?
Wow, that's a really good question.
Thank you.
Would you like to, Tyson?
I would love to. I don't know if I'm handsome enough, Coach.
I think you are. What would I say? I like Michael Fassbender. I don't know if you know who that is,
I
but
don't.
he's in the X-Men movies. He plays Magneto nowadays. Yeah, he's pretty good.
So are you more of the action guy, the calm guy, the rom-com guy?
Big rom-com guy.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a big drama guy. I like dramas. That's what thrillers and dramas is what I like.
What's your top thriller, drama, anything on the list? Have you seen Bird Box, Coach?
I watched Bird Box the other day on a flight.
Without spoiling,
Yep.
thoughts?
I thought it was solid. It was solid. It kind of follows the similar like plot lines a lot of those movies do, but it was definitely entertaining. It was good.
I agree. I was entertained.
Yeah, exactly.
was
Which is the
locked in.
point, right?
Yep, I was on the edge of my seat.
No doubt. No, it was. Yeah, it was like that. It was very entertaining though.
Let's move to music.
Okay.
One of my favorite things is walking down the football hallway, walking by your office, because I never know what's going to be playing. But usually something is playing.
Yep.
When you're watching film, you know, sometimes you get some music on in the background. What's some of your go-tos?
We definitely like music, you know, and I like playing music, obviously, as you know. But you know, I bounce around a little bit. It depends on if I'm with people or not, too. But like in the rap world, I really do like Drake. I know some of our players are, you know, 50-50 on him right now, but I'm a big Drake guy. And then I also like some different, you know, kind of indie type things. I'm big into the 1975. That's a big band that I'm
Okay.
into.
All
I'm into
right.
some like weird music.
All right.
I joke around that, you know, how everybody says that they listen to everything now. Well, we grew up before the iPod, like right before the iPod,
did,
right?
yes.
But like before that, I actually did listen to everything. So I want credit for that. My first two CDs I ever bought were Country Grammar by Nelly,
Yep.
and I'm forgetting the other one, Walking on the Sun. I forget who made that one. But anyway, very diverse selection.
Gotcha. So were you the guy back in school that, you know, you had the mixtape?
Yes.
So you had some Nelly, you had some...
Different everything. I had like, you know, remember Sum 41?
Sure.
You
Yeah,
know,
Outlet.
absolutely. Like, what was it? TRL. Our
Yeah.
players don't know what that is anymore.
no idea.
But to me, I loved that.
TRL was hot back in the day.
It's big.
I'd
That's
get
the-
home from school, 3 o'clock,
Right.
TRL's on,
But
Carson
that's-
Daly.
But that's our culture.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? Like, it's important to pay attention
Yeah.
to those things. So yeah, I had CDs. I burnt them. The whole thing.
We couldn't Google, you know, I want to watch Kid Rock, Ba Wada Ba, and go on and watch it. We had to wait for TRL and
Right.
hope in God that it would be in the top 10.
Right, and then you get the music video. That was like a big deal.
Right.
You know, MTV's not the same anymore.
No,
but
it's changed.
but to be honest with you, though, to go back, my favorite artist, you know, and I'm getting sentimental with you, is John Mayer. I'm just being honest with you.
That's all right.
It's okay if I get this out in the open right now.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm just telling you.
Any live shows you've been to that stand out? Are you a live music guy?
Yeah, I mean, not so much recently. Now that I have a child, I haven't really been, you know,
Sure.
going out too
Yeah.
much. But my wife and I really like Dave Matthews. We've been to a few concerts. I've been to a U2 concert.
Wow.
I don't know. I've been to a few concerts, so I like live music.
Cool. You just mentioned your family. Of course, I went food, I went movies, I went
Right,
TV,
right,
I
in
went
the-
music,
right.
and now let's talk about your family.
In that order.
That's what. Yes,
Yep.
exactly. That's
Right.
what matters. So, your wife Maria.
Yep.
You've been married now how many years?
We have,
Test.
yeah, I know, almost 3.
Okay,
Almost 3. We're getting there.
You have one child.
Yes.
And just let's start at the beginning, Coach. You and
Okay.
Maria, back in the old days.
Olden times.
How'd you meet?
Yep. We met my freshman year at BC. We actually, both of us don't remember
She a BC grad too?
She is. She is. She got her master's there too. We met. We don't remember the day we met, but we did meet. I'm pretty sure. So
That's a fact.
that's a
Hashtag
fact.
fact.
You can't falsify that.
Okay.
So we dated for 8 years. And got engaged actually right before I came up here.
Yep.
So it was about 2 months before I got this job. We got married in 2016. We have our daughter Madeline, and then we actually have another one on the way.
Congratulations,
So,
Coach.
thank you.
When
Yes.
did she do?
May 31st.
Okay.
So it was like, we timed it up better than the last one. The last one was like 4 days before we were at Island.
Yeah. It's a
And we
little
won.
stressful.
We won, so it's
Yeah.
okay. But
That's good.
it was.
A little bit of a stressful time though back then.
It was a little bit. Game planning on a hospital felt a little weird, but you know what? It all worked out. So
That's a football guy if I've heard one, Coach.
that's what you want.
Game planning in the hospital.
You're a football guy though, too, Tyson.
Thank you.
No problem.
You have no idea how much I appreciate you.
That's what we want. We want football guys.
All right, so let's move into, you have a week in July. Coach Charlton's doing a million things, but you get as a coach you get I don't know, a day and a half or two to relax.
Sure. Yeah.
So what are you doing in that day and a half? Is it golf? Is it is it Netflix? Is it traveling? Is it going back to the North Shore?
Yeah. I mean, we go out and see family usually in July. You do get a little more than 2 days off, which is nice. But I golf a little bit. Not a huge golfer.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
But we do a little Netflix, things like that. But we usually see family, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Either my family in Salem or I really like going to Madison, Connecticut, where she's from. It's really relaxing. There's like a beach there.
Yeah.
That's probably where I would go, to be honest with you.
So you're a beach guy.
I like the beach.
You like
I like the beach. I like the water.
Yeah.
I'm down with it.
Are you a read on the beach type guy, or
Yeah.
are you just a relax on the beach guy?
Relax.
A cold drink in the left hand,
Sure.
maybe a book in the right.
Maybe the last part. I like reading on the beach.
Yeah.
I like a cold drink. So
Yeah.
to me, it's a little bit of both. I like relaxing, but I've been into reading the last couple of years. Maria, got on me about that, so I've been trying to get back into it again.
And she got on you maybe because she is a
English teacher.
English teacher
Yes.
in the area here.
She's at John Baptist High School.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about now, if not for football,
Mm-hmm.
what would Nick Charlton be doing? You said maybe politician?
That's what I would be doing, probably. I don't know if I'd be a good one, but that's what I would be
I think
doing.
you would be.
I appreciate
Sell
that.
yourself and everything else well.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? So, but yeah, I'd probably do that.
Well, we won't talk about political beliefs, Coach.
We can get into it if you want.
No,
I
it's
do it with
all
the
right.
players sometimes. It's
We'll
good.
do that later.
All right, that's
That'll
on
be later.
the
That'll be
uncut.
yeah, that's the uncut
Right.
version.
No, I'm with that.
What about sports? You grow up, you said you played football in high school,
Yep.
played quarterback, but what else? What are you doing in the spring, the winter, a hoops guy?
I was a basketball, baseball, football guy, so I played all three. Did that throughout my career, and I had two younger brothers, so we were always playing something. Sports was pretty much what we did. My first love was really basketball, to be honest with you.
Yep.
I love basketball. I still play a little bit, but I'm not very good anymore.
Yep.
But that was really what high school was. We were just playing a lot of sports, and it was fun.
So two younger brothers. What was it like growing up in the Charlton household?
Well, my mother is really into antiques and
Yikes.
nice things, as she says. So
Yeah.
a lot of broken things in my
Yeah,
house.
not good.
No, four males in the house. It wasn't always the best.
Yeah.
I was usually the violator, to be honest with you. But I like to think I'm a little more respectable now with those things. But it was always tough.
So you think your brothers are more tough? Credit to you because they had to grow up and learn under you?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
good. We'll go with
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
What do your brothers do?
My brothers. Taylor, my brother actually right now is enlisting, so he's a military guy. My dad was a Navy diver,
Okay.
so he's doing that. My brother Patrick right now is in college, so he's actually at UMass Amherst right now.
Okay.
So-
And your dad retired now?
No, he still works. He's property management,
Okay.
parking in Boston. He does those things, so he works in the city.
What about your mother?
My mother does a variety of different things, but she's big catering. That's what she's doing
Okay.
right now. She has a company. She actually bought a company recently to get into it.
Okay. Like weddings and events like that?
Everything, little something under the sun.
Sure. So let's end this, Nick, with a question I like to ask everyone we have on this show.
Okay.
What is something that people might not know about Coach Charlton?
That's a good question. I would say the whole philosophy major thing that I got going on there, as I call it, introspection, those things. I think when you meet me, you wouldn't necessarily know that with the whole football thing going on, but there's a little more going on than just that sometimes. So I think we're multi-layered people. So that's what I would say.
So Coach Charlton, more than just a football guy,
More than
also
just-
a philosopher.
if you may.
And maybe a politician.
Maybe.
And a chef, maybe?
She does most of the work. I'm like the
Okay.
sous chef
All right.
in the house, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's your night, you're calling Chinese.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm not making it, but that's okay.
Right. Also, Coach Charlton, a wonderful follow on Twitter. I want to give you a chance to
Thank you.
shout out the @Coach_Charlton.
Yes, Coach_Charlton.
Yes,
It's a
wonderful
great follow.
stuff coming out.
Great
Wonderful,
follow.
Wonderful stuff from @Coach_Charlton.
Big time social media guy now, which I can't believe that, but it's true.
Yeah.
So you know.
Maybe Instagram, Coach?
I
Can we
don't
talk you into that?
You know, we'd have to talk about that.
I think you might have to.
I know. At this point in my career, it's like important,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Right now, people are saying the gram. You got to be on the gram.
I'll look at the research, see
right.
what it says.
We'll study it.
I'll find you on Snap.
All right. Yes, yes. Add me on Snapchat.
Cool, I will.
I'm not giving that out to the public yet.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. So we'll keep that under wraps.
Yeah, I don't have one, so
All right.
it's all good.
We'll get you on the gram. We'll get you on Snapchat, and
That's
then
fine.
we'll
Then I'll
grow
be
from there.
cool.
Then you'll be cool.
Well, I just turned 30, so I'm not really that cool anymore. I'm old now.
Yeah, 30's a tough one.
I know.
That's okay though. You
find
got a lot
it.
going for you, Coach. You're doing all right.
I'm trying to connect with the kids.
Yeah. All right, Coach Charlton. Thanks for joining us today.
Tyson, it was wonderful talking to you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.